Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to my channel. It's so wonderful to connect with you. First of all, I want to thank you for being here. It's been an amazing week, and I felt the strong urge to talk about spirituality. So many people are out there, and they're like, "Yes, I'm very spiritual," and yeah, sometimes I'm spiritual, but not all the time. And so I just want to put some clarity. I want to bring some clarity from my perspective, of course. What does it really mean to be spiritual, or what does spirituality really mean? For me, it's not just a trend. It's not just a trend of a new fashion or something. For me, to be spiritual is really to bring consciousness to every area of your life. Uh, Being spiritual means to be aware, to be in the present moment, to actually take responsibility for your happiness and for your feelings. For me, one of my biggest challenges in life was to really embrace my emotions. I'm a very deeply feeling, very sensitive being. And so, ever since from my early childhood, I actually learned to look the other way when something felt heavy. And for me, this really became one of my biggest challenges in life because if you want to move on, and if you want to take your soul's journey, if you want to take responsibility for your soul's journey, and that's also what spirituality is to me, what it really means. It's to remember who you truly are beyond your title, beyond your name that has been given to you in this incarnation, beyond the years that are written in your passport. It is to remember who you truly are. And who we truly are is infinite beings, infinite essence of love and light. And so one of my biggest challenges was to really be present with the emotion, even though those emotions, I felt like they would overwhelm me like a tidal wave. And so it felt safer to look the other way and just ignore them. But as long as we ignore something, it is still living within us, and it is part of us that wants to be loved and accepted, just as every single one of us. We are beings that by source, by life, are loved and accepted already. But many of us don't remember, because what we see is how human beings are loving us. And most human beings, forgive me for saying that, but most human beings, I know very few rare individuals, and I'm getting to know more and more now, that can love unconditionally, because we all have our things. We all have our things. That's why we're here. That's why we're here on this playground, in order to kind of evolve and to get back to source, to get back to remembering who we truly are. So, coming back to being spiritual, it is to take responsibility for your own feelings, for your own emotions. Be lovingly present for them, like the loving mother. Just welcome them in. They will not overwhelm you like a tidal wave. They are actually, you can picture them like shadow beings, or like little children that are crying, and all they want is love, all they want is acceptance. That's how that's the image that helped me to accept my feelings of anger, of rage, of feeling misunderstood, for who I am. And this is often happening to highly sensitive beings here on earth, or those of us that come with how can I say, with a maturity that is maybe more evolved. Many of us are misunderstood, and we are called, oh, you're just too sensitive, or you're just too this or that. And we're not. We are beautiful as we are, and we are made as we are, because we are a gift to this world, just the way we are. Whatever you may be, if you are too loud, if you are too um, what can if your light radiates too much, let the others take out their sunglasses. Or if you're too loud, I mean, you could never be too loud. We need to make our voices hear. So actually, spirituality also means to bring consciousness and happiness back to your life. Joy for me is one of the biggest things. when we are being joyful again, and this is actually something that I learned ever since I'm 14. I told you, I'm not sure, I have to check my other videos, but anyway, my biggest teacher in life was a dog named Daddy, and that dog really brought me back to joy. And because I was asking myself, how can I get there? How can I be so joyful? How can I be just as joyful as he is every day without any reason? Because Daddy, that little dog, he taught me that it really means to be joyful without a reason, just because you're alive, you know, and every day is a miracle. And when we see every day as a miracle here on earth, that's when it can turn into a miracle, because we're expecting it. And so life is always a perception of what we are seeing life. Every single one of us is seeing life through our own filters. And so that's why life is always a perception. You give the same picture to a million people and everyone will see something else in it. Or you give an abstract painting to a million people and everyone will define something else. He will see something else in it, because we are all seeing life through our own filters. We are all on our own journey. We are all working through our own things. And so this is what we actually project oftentimes on the outside world. So, what can I say? Coming back to spirituality, bringing love and joy back into your life, raise your vibration, be happy. One of my favorite words was always first the pleasure and then the work. I grew up in Germany, and one of the things that the Germans always said is erst die Arbeit, dann das Vergnügen. First the work and then the pleasure. And that never worked for me. And I felt like something is wrong with me. Maybe I have things backwards or whatever. It didn't work for me, because if you say first work and then pleasure, well, my vibration was so low that I couldn't do the work that was required of me in a good way. And I just said, no, for me, the pleasure comes first. I need to raise my vibration first, and then I can do my work lovingly and happily. And then a big other part of spirituality, and I'm going to talk more about this, because I'm sure that once, where your focus goes, energy flows. So once we're focused on something, a lot more downloads will actually come to us. So today I'm just sharing the first part, but I'm going to do second and third parts about it. I'm going to talk more about spirituality. If you want me to, let me know in the comments below, by the way. So another big thing for me about spirituality is to forgive. And what helped me really to forgive is to realize that no one is hurting you. Well, I know very, very few people that are hurting because it brings them pleasure. But if somebody is hurting you because it brings this person pleasure, just imagine how much this person must be suffering. Spirituality is also very much about self-love and self-compassion. And those people that are loving and compassionate to ourselves, we wouldn't hurt other people, because we feel how other people feel. And so actually one of our things is to be a people pleaser, because we want our people to feel good in our presence, because this is making us feel good, and we wouldn't want to upset someone. And this is why many of us are oftentimes not really speaking our truth, even though a no to another person can absolutely mean a yes to yourself. And this is what spirituality also means. It is to be, put yourself first. Say yes to yourself before you can say yes to anything outside in your world. Say yes to yourself, accept yourself, love yourself as you are. And forgiveness, as I said, forgive those people that were hurting you because they didn't know better. I mean, I have had my childhood, my teenage years, oh my goodness, if I would count all the hurtings that I've received, goodness gracious. But what I understand today is, and that's what I'm talking about here, when we understand, there is no more forgiveness. Forgiveness becomes unnecessary when we understand where another person is that is maybe treating you not right, So if we remember, okay, what's going on here? it's still okay. Sorry, I just had just my screen went black, so I wasn't sure if it was still recording. So yeah, going on. Forgive, and forgiveness means to understand that the other person that was hurting you is still hurting. And actually, also, forgiveness means to not taking things personal. You know, one of my best teachers in the US was a Native American, and he was always saying, when you hear something, or when somebody's telling you something, or somebody's hurting you, just take it into your mouth and chew it. And if it tastes good, you chew on it a little more, and if it doesn't taste good, you just spit it out. What he actually meant is, if someone is hurting you and it's triggering you, then there is some work within you that you can still do to love yourself and accept yourself even more and come back into joy. If it doesn't trigger you, if somebody calls you an idiot and you're just like, yeah, okay, you know, sometimes I can be an idiot and that's okay, I love myself anyway, then it doesn't trigger you and you can just spit it out. It's the other person's perspective. It's the other person's projection. And in fact, everything that is brought to us is always a projection. You know, we project our own filters, our own way of looking at the world or human beings out into the world, and so does everyone else. So everything is always an illusion. It's always a perception. Love is the only truth. Everything else is an illusion. This is something that David Icke once said, the great book writer and great, you know, evolved soul. So anyway, this was my message for you today. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. I want you to know how welcome you are here in my channel. Please let me know what you take away from today in the comments below. Take good care, beautiful soul, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.